Test. Test, test. Test, test. Test, test, test. Test, test. Test. Test, test.
This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Council. I call to order this Haslet City Council meeting, July the 6th, 2026 at 7 p.m. Quorum is present. If you bow your head with me, offer an invocation, and stand with me for a pledge of allegiance. Thank you, Almighty Father, for this great nation. We celebrate 250 years, and it's a testament to your blessing, your guidance, your wisdom. We give you thanks in all things. We pray for your continued guidance throughout our country and throughout the world. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Item 3, citizen participation and comments. Do we have any speakers?
Yes, we do. We have in-person and an email. The first in-person is Kitty Wirtz.
Miss Kitty Wirtz. And you'll start that timer? Okay.
Where is it? Oh, good. Okay, thank you. Hello, Council and Mayor. Kitty Wirtz, 205 Thistle Drive, Haslet, Texas. I'm speaking on Agenda Item 7D, amending the HCEDC bylaws. I oppose this action and ask City Council to deny its approval for the following reasons. Allowing a Texas Economic Development Corporation to have different purchasing requirements for the city it serves can provide several strategic operational advantages while still complying with state procurement laws. Some of those are flexibility in project execution, access to broader supply base, alignment with development goals, reduced administration burden, strategic use of funds, compliance with statutory authority, risk management, and specialized needs. In short, having different purchasing requirements for the Texas EDC can enhance efficiency, expand supplier options, align the economic development goals, and reduce administrative overhead while remaining with the bounds of the state of procurement law. Agenda Item 7G, request for foreign trade zone. I request that the City Council deny this request to the Alliance Corridor as presented, allowing the requested locations to be designated as foreign trade zones, which would exempt inventory tax on imported goods and those held for export. The locations that do not currently have a warehouse on the property are the ones I am speaking about. If this is allowed, Texas will surely have additional warehouses built there, and the citizens of Haslet has requested this not happen until a better land use plan can be adopted. Once this designation is given, I do not believe it can be rescinded. Let's put the brakes on the land not yet developed until more voices can be heard. Agenda item 7H, censure of the mayor. Designation to the city's voting representative to North Central Texas COG. At the beginning of that meeting, members of the city council learned that the mayor, Gary Halsey, had designated himself as the city's voting representative and that a voting form had already been submitted identifying him in that capacity. No formal city council action had been taken authorizing Mayor Halsey to serve as the city's designated voting representative. As a direct action, the city's vote was voided at the general council meeting recently. I request the city council immediately rescind that self-appointed position and take a formal vote in the next city council meeting to appoint Mayor Pro Tem Tanya Morrill into the position to represent the city of Haslet. The mayor's behavior is unacceptable and the censure is in order for his actions.
Thank you, Ms. Wertz. Our next speaker,
Joette Keene.
Ms. Keene.
Joette Keene, 1410 Poppy Drive, Haslet. This is actually directed to the City Council. About 8 months ago, I sent a request for open records to all the council. I received responses from 2 people. Other people didn't respond. I don't know why that was. You were all copied on the emails. I would like to know why open record requests aren't acknowledged if you have emails that you've received. That's one thing. The other thing, I want to speak to the council tonight specifically to say, I hope that you hold people accountable consistently. I want you to think about that because people watch. And it's your responsibility to do so, whether they're council members, board members. I think it's important that you are consistent in your decision making. Also, I encourage you, when you do receive letters from citizens, to at least acknowledge that you've received them. I think that's the courteous thing to do, and I would really hope, I know some of you do it, and I thank you for that, but others, I don't know if you've even seen them or read them, and I think that's unfortunate for citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Keene. Do we have another speaker?
Yes, Laura Schlotteroff.
Ms. Slaughterhoff.
Laura Schlotteroff, 1195 Walson Way. Council, look who's here sitting in the back row, who is here every meeting, who works with you to make Haslet a place we all want to live. Regarding 7D, amend bylaws of HCEDC Type B, City Council, please deny this item. I would like for HCDC Type B and City Council to have a workshop to discuss our purpose. We are awaiting direction from City Council. I have been working with Tanya Morrow as she was getting with city staff to review our board description on 4 different website pages since they were different on every page. The Articles of Incorporation was missing from this packet for today's meeting. Article 5 states our purpose as the incorporators intended. It makes better sense to make all the changes at one time. Also, our attorney's opinion is that we don't change our purchasing process. Texas Municipal League and the Texas Comptrollers of Public Accounts also support EDCs having a different and flexible purchasing process. Please note, our evaluation of playground vendors, the Playground Committee requested sealed bids from the vendors. However, when the Park Board Committee members shared vendor information with their full board, they shared the bid amounts. HCEDC members felt it was inappropriate to share competitor information. 7E, Parks Board role in developing city parks. Please table this item until Zach Gilbert and Mike Anderson are back in town to be able to answer questions. As you know, they both were working on the Master Park Plan project, and it doesn't make sense to discuss this topic without them. 7G Foreign Trade Zone designation. I ask you not to approve this ordinance until more information is provided, as some folks involved in this negotiation have not been transparent, and I've asked for more information. Joe Ashton can't inform the public if Mayor Halsey and Mr. Page are not forthcoming. I would like to work with Hillwood, however, a Hillwood representative did not appear at the P&Z zoning workshop as we had hoped. I'd like to ask those representatives if they would like a foreign trade warehouse just next to their neighborhood. I'm speaking of the warehouse site north of Caraway, this same warehouse site that never should have been rezoned as industrial plan development as part of the planned development residential site. How ill-conceived. No one lived here to dispute the zoning approval, and it was never advertised as being industrial when homeowners purchased plots. Finally, do not approve any sites that do not presently have warehouses on them. This includes the empty lot at Harmon and Westport Parkway. Allow the urban planning consultants to finish work before attaching a designation to land that may not be industrial. I hope the Hillwood representative today can provide more information on this topic. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Slaughter. Do we have another speaker?
Yes, Carol Clark.
Ms. Clark.
That's the wrong one. Carol Clark, 117 Schreiber Drive. Greetings, City Council members and Mayor. Did you know that revenue at the feed store across the street is down 60%? The owner, Ms. Annette Lee, attributes the loss in revenue to the rerouting of Keller-Haslet Road traffic. Many residents in the Sendero Ranch area frequented this store and encouraged members in my 2,100-member Facebook group to do the same. That was until the mayor no longer allowed them to drive through downtown Haslet. Now they feel they've been wronged, and no amount of trying to convince them otherwise has changed their minds. What about the other Haslet businesses? One of the mayor's remaining duties is outreach. He should be routinely checking on the welfare of our businesses and providing updates to council. To be fair, I can say that I personally found it extremely difficult to turn into a parking place at City Hall because of all the traffic. However, that level of inconvenience didn't warrant such a drastic change, especially without taking into account all the variables and the potential impacts. Where was the traffic suddenly supposed to go? It didn't just disappear. It bottlenecked up another intersection. The problem with personal self-serving agendas is that good people like Ms. Lee suffer the consequences. What will the corner of FM 156 and Main Street look like without the feed store? Perhaps that was the initiator's intention all along. Now imagine what Haslet businesses will look like in 2032 if the mayor's massive flyover bridge is in place. I asked Ms. Lee to please hang on for 299 more days until we elect a new mayor. A mayor who will put the welfare, livelihood, and needs of Haslet businesses and citizens first. A mayor who will also want to be a good partner with adjoining communities like Sendero Ranch. Lastly, I fully support Agenda Item 7H, censoring the mayor. I hope council retracts both submissions to Hillwood and NCT-COG. Please make the mayor pro tem Haslet's voting representative to NCT-COG. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Clark. Do we have another speaker?
Not in person, just the email.
Say it again.
Not in person, just the email that was received. And then I don't see anybody.
Do we have anybody online?
No, sir.
No one online? Did you have something you're going to read?
Yes, the email.
Please.
That is from John Barnett. 2 quick items I wanted to address that will be held in executive session, 8A and 8B. 8A is already an item that was listed as executive session in past meetings and then taken off the docket. This is the Sweetgrass deed transfer of community facilities property that was sat on since the beginning of the year. The question I would like the city council members to ask Mr. Page was why the delay? What is the process and has it been followed appropriately to date? It is always interesting to me that nothing is done until residents start pushing things forward. I am by no means saying I'm an expert, but there needs to be a public and more formal process on how such matters are discussed in public and not behind closed doors. 8B, the discussion around place 7 on the HCEDC board. The matter is simple. This is a volunteer position, and the resident being discussed has gone above and beyond in everything she does. She puts everything into this position that is not paid and becomes a mentor to new residents and young families that are coming into our community. She is a treasure trove of information from years of meetings that she attends and does not let the keyboard warriors sway residents one way or the other. She shows up, she backs what she says, and she does it in a very professional manner. Let's not allow Haslet to take one step forward and 2 steps back. Thank you for your time, and go USA.
Do we have any others?
No, sir.
Very good. All right, I then close that item 3. Item 4, items of community interest. The Summer Reading Club, Haslet Public Library, will continue through Friday, July 31st, 2026. Please visit our website, and under the Summer Reading Club page, you'll find more information. It's a great program. All the children do greatly enjoy that. 5, updates on active items, projects, and event recaps. Mr. Tucker.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. There we go. There's just a handful of updates here. You can go ahead and go to that second slide. So just some shots of the inside doors, things like that, hardware, stuff like that going into place. They also did the driveway coming in. That's been done. They're working on HVAC, soon to have cable runs. So just moving on with interior finish out. And there is another item concerning this later on in the agenda. But for the most part, this is moving forward, and that's really the most photographic progress to bring to you. So next slide there. Next is that Nance Field paving and drainage improvements. As you can see, all that steel is laid and tied. It is ready to pour. They were looking at a pour for tomorrow, so it could be poured as early as tomorrow. And we have a video sent by the contractor. It's a nice little aerial, if we can go to the next one. This is what he provided. This was prior to some of the steel going in, but it gives you a nice overview of the layout. And a few things that were noteworthy is they found the base to be in just incredible shape. Over the years, they used basically road-based material to build up that gravel, so there wasn't a lot of material that had to be replaced there. All that material was several feet thick of what you would have used, so it's got a very, very solid base to build off of. So we only expect really good results from that. Richard, I think that you can pause that. So I believe that was the only 2 updates really that were relevant for y'all.
You may mention the testing that we had done.
Yeah, so with any paving project, we do have a lab that does densities and things of that nature. So they come out, they make sure they know what compaction needs to be met, and then
No, it's not that testing. The mold remediation with regard to the fire department expansion project.
Okay, I thought that was an item that was further in the agenda. Do you want us to?
That was, well, that's just it's an update, but we will address that as far as a approval of a.
Yeah, so as the mayor mentioned, there is they did find a section of mold that was in the new portion of it, and then they've got to look at what it takes to remediate that.
They did a complete moisture inspection as well throughout the building to check all the walls, the ceilings, the roof, insulation. They found a number of pockets of moisture being retained. They are doing a full report, and that should be forthcoming this week, and to outline what other actions should be taken.
Do we have any idea of what's causing this? Because this is the new building, correct?
Yes, yes. There were roof penetrations that were not sealed,
Okay.
and there was intrusion, water intrusion due to the heavy rain, due to the rains, as well as part of the vent cap on the roof was left off. Also, that allowed ingress of water during the rains.
So have we noted these deficiencies to the project manager?
Yeah, they've been made aware of that, and like I said, we brought in a third party to look at that, tell them what needs to be done to address those. And we don't, to the best of my knowledge, there's no opposition from them to take corrective actions. Like I said, they discovered it, they know that where the issue is, and they're going through the process of what does it take to remediate that and move forward.
Okay, so the, oh, go
Well,
ahead.
we'll know more about this on 7B, correct, when we get to that agenda item?
Right, there's an
Okay.
agenda item on this, you can get into more detail about it.
Perfect, okay, thank you.
Hey, one question on the parking lot at Nance Field. Once they get the main parking lot done, are they going to do the completion from the sidewalk out to the street? Tie in there that goes?
Yes, they'll do the main part, then after that, they'll lay the sidewalk portion.
Okay.
We're just getting this, and they're trying to do this in one large pour at one time, so it'll start that curing process, and then they'll do the other sections after.
Okay, thank you.
On 5C, Avondale-Haslet Road, Haslet Parkway, and grade separation, that would be with regard to the TxDOT, North Central Texas Council of Governments effort that is addressing the entire project from I-35 to our western city limits on Avondale-Haslet Road, inclusive of a short bridge design. And at this point, and it still has been in negotiation for several weeks, is TxDOT negotiating with Kimberly Horn Architects, or not architects, but Kimberly Horn, to get them under contract to start that work. That has not, to my knowledge, has not been accomplished to date. And no other progress on that has been made. The CRISI grant. That application was submitted last week by North Central Texas Council of Governments. They are very pleased with their application, the quality of it, and we look forward to the outcome. And when that date is, when the Department of Transportation, U.S. Department of Transportation, determines those awards is yet to be known, but it is expected to be several months out. Item 6, consent agenda. Council, you have before you two items. 6A, being the June 1st, 2026 regular council meeting minutes and the June 15th, 2026 regular city council meeting minutes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted.
Motion is made to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there a second?
Yes, Mayor, I'll second that.
There is a second. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, council. Item 7, public hearings, ordinances, resolution, and action items. 7A, discuss, consider, and act on a proposal from Soul Air Engineers to conduct a heat load study at the fire station. Okay, this is Chief Harvey.
Council, Mayor, so at last council meeting, y'all directed me to find someone. The mayor had already actually had identified someone. We met with that company. It was Soul Air. They did a walkthrough of the entire structure. We discussed the current use and future use of the building and rooms and all that. And this is their proposal, $6,500 to provide the full study, make suggestions on any changes, if any, they find, and provide the construction documents. And I recommend approval of this agreement.
All right, council, that is to you to discuss, consider, and act. I did find them, of course, my profession was in the HVAC engineering field. These people are very competent. They're very capable to do this. They have, I believe, in my notice to you that I provided a link to their website. They have ample experience in municipal projects and very specifically fire departments.
Yeah, Mr. Harvey, did they give you a projection on timetable to get the study completed?
They said it could take up to 3 to 4 weeks, but they expected it a lot quicker than that.
Thank you.
Mayor Halsey.
Yes.
I would like to make a motion to approve the proposal from Solaire Engineers for the study of $6,500 to be taken from the account listed.
Motion is made to approve the proposal from Solar Engineers for $6,500 to do the heating load study at the fire station. Is there a second?
I second that.
There's a second. All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you, council. Next item, 7B, discuss, consider, and act on authorizing the mayor to enter into a service agreement for the assessment and sampling of mold and other environmental pathogens at the fire station expansion project. As I had notified the council that due to the urging from the project architect in prior discussion with Jeremy Page, I signed this in post haste to get these people out here as quick as possible. They were able to react and had availability. They were here within 2 days, I believe it was. Anyway, they have performed their analysis and work. And again, as I mentioned previously, they are working on a report that will be forthcoming to the city and define what our path forward should be, and if any other testing is required. So this is for your ratification.
Just quick question to finish the conversation from earlier. So, and I'm not sure what company was awarded this. Do you have that off the top of my head? Who's working on this project?
ERI Consulting Incorporated was the consulting company.
Okay, whoever the project manager is, they're fully aware of what?
Oh, for our construction?
Yes.
JC Commercial is our construction.
So he's aware of the situation, and we've given them a notice of deficiency in the project, because this sounds like this is an error on
Yes.
their part? Okay,
Yes.
and they're anticipating on a change order for this, correct?
They are waiting on the report, and they understand that this is their fault, and it's not really a change order. It is they must fix it.
Understood. Thank you.
All right, council. I guess I would ask for a motion to ratify this agreement that I signed to get ERI out here post haste.
So just to be clear, so they've already been, this company, sorry, I didn't catch your name. They've already been out and doing some of the assessment and study of what's been going on out there. So what's this service agreement? What are we finalizing with the service agreement if they've already been out there doing the work?
Will you pull that up? Is it not? It's not included? All right, it was a agreement. It was just a little over $1,800 for ERI, who is a professional mold analysis consultant. They are licensed and trained. All the tests were done in accordance with the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulations, those procedures. And again, they have they inspected all of the new expansion area, the walls, insulation, the ceilings, underside of the roof, anywhere that they were checking for excessive moisture, and also inspecting for mold. They did find some small area of mold. They took samples of that mold, and they have a laboratory, a licensed laboratory, and they are doing an analysis of that mold to determine what type it is, and if they're in. But also at the same time, they made mention one particular wall, as I recall, that it may need to be partially removed to do other inspection further on that they could not detect or get to at that time. But their report and analysis of the data would give them a plan of action to take that they will transfer to the city. Once that is received, we will know what further action to take and if any further testing is required. Again, that was just a little over $1,800.
Okay, and so the $1,800 covers all their testing, their analysis and lab work, anything done with
Correct.
this thing. Okay, so in the assessment with this, once they come back, with the findings, it sounds like, okay, the contractor's really going to be liable for all the repairs. Or is the contractor going to reimburse the city for the inspection piece of this?
That's step number 2. We took step number 1.
Well, we need to look at step number 2 now while we're talking about it.
Well, when we get that report, we can determine what action has to be taken with regard to that contractor.
So really quick, that is pretty standard. When you're dealing with the contractors, you're going to fully investigate what has occurred and what action needs taken to correct it. That way you're going to the contractor all at one time and saying, hey, this was the full cost to identify and fix it. And then you enter kind of that negotiation.
That's correct. That's correct.
I do want to follow up. Did they tell you when you'd get the report since it's already been done?
They did not tell us what day we would get the report. Okay. We suspect it'll be this week.
My only concern is I don't want them sitting in mold. We're not going to be back for city council meeting for 2 weeks. I mean, how does that look when they get the results, Jeremy? How would they go about executing something if not waiting for council to reconvene to deal with a mold situation where our firefighters are at?
And Chief can mention this, we've already cordoned off the area that has mold in it, and all the staff and personnel at the fire station have been instructed not to go into that part of the facility without approval and without proper facial coverings to protect themselves from it. So the mold exposure, really the only people who would potentially be harmed by it would be the contractor, and the contractor is ultimately responsible for their workers and the safety of their workers. So it shouldn't impact the city staff that are over there currently.
So you think this could just be revisited at the next city council meeting for the next steps for it? Not this item, but the next steps. If we have the report, it can wait, is what you're saying?
Yes, so I mean, again, the report is coming, and then they'll be given, sounds like it will be given to the contractor, and the contractor will make the repairs as necessary. The goal would be, of course, to have the contractor pay for any fixes, any repairs. They are ultimately responsible for any mistakes, any damages that they have caused. And so, again, that would probably be something that would be handled more on the administrative side, any sort of negotiations with the contractor to ensure that the city is made whole. I'm not sure what further action the council would have.
Okay, so we don't have to do anything. Once they identify what needs done, council doesn't need to greenlight it, they're good to do it?
Yes, again, because the contractor should be solely responsible for any of those costs, there shouldn't be any sort of change orders that would be coming back to the council. That would be the goal.
Understand.
There again, and there is no anticipated other action for the council to take on this topic.
Okay.
Hey, we don't have the contractor's financials in front of us. Do we feel they're solvent enough to cover the additional rework on this, or do they carry enough liability insurance to
Yes.
cover this without,
We have bonds in
folding
place
under the
for
contract?
that.
And we've already gone through one contract.
We have gone through several different topics as normal in any construction project. And the team they have in place are resolved to finish a quality project.
Okay, thank you.
All I need is a motion to, what's that word, Jeremy? Ratify. Ratify the agreement.
Okay, I'll give it a shot. Motion to ratify 7B as stated with the amendment that any information the mayor receives is sent to Joe Ashton expeditiously.
Motion is made to ratify the agreement that the mayor has signed previously, and any information that the mayor receives is just sent to Joe Ashton immediately. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
There's a second. All in favor? It's unanimous, 4-0. 7C, discuss, consider, and act on a proposal from Pump Station Solutions or Pump Solutions Incorporated for the temporary skid-mountable split case in suction pumps for the FM 156 Pump Station Improvement Project. Mr. Tucker.
Mayor and council, this is a request to basically early purchase 2 pumps as a part of the upcoming 5.5 million gallon pump station improvement project. We've done this with a few other items, the generator we had, and also the permanent pumps. These are specifically for the temporary skid. So as a part of this project, a skid unit has to be built. It's sort of a custom one-off solution placed as a temporary means of moving water while we take this other pump station offline, and it's modified and rebuilt with the newer components. The lead times on these pumps seem long. We've already had the bid opening for this project. We're expecting to have it in front of you for potential award at the next council meeting, but the lead time would be reduced from 13 weeks to 6 to 8 weeks if we can order them ahead of time. So we would just remove the purchase of these pumps from their scope. The actual building of that skid is still going to be done. We already have the contractor lined up. As a part of that, we're just asking to spend that money ahead of time so the pumps can be built and delivered. And then we'll just pay that separate. And that'll just basically save a little time because this section of the project has to be done first to secure our ability to pump water to the system and keep it going before we can really do anything on or some of the major components on the pump station. So we don't want any kind of delay that we don't have to. And this is just an opportunity to have that, so we're not awarding a contract, having a contractor waiting on pumps to be built.
Any questions, council? All right, then it's to you.
So my only question was, so the amount requested is the 53,456. And it would
Yes.
come out of Fund 29 that has the 6,449,000 in it.
That's correct.
Okay.
And it's only anticipated, I mean, we have an exact price for this. He always adds a contingency, so if there was some small item that was missed in either freight or similar increase, that we wouldn't have to come back to ask again. But the intention is to place that. That was a quote that's only, less than a week or so old. So the intention is we will sign that purchase and we will only need that, but that's the reason for the contingency.
So in our motion, should we do like up to
Yes,
55,000 or up to this exact amount right here?
up to the $53,456 for the purchase of 2 pumps. That would be perfect.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the proposal from Pump Solutions for the amount up to $53,456 for 2 pumps to be taken from Fund 29.
Motion is made to approve the purchase of from Pump Solutions, the skid-mounted pump system for $53,456 to be taken from Fund 29, line item 299940-01-00. Is there a second?
Yes, Mayor, I'll second that.
There is a second. Is your system down? All right.
Oh, yeah.
Do we have a storm approaching?
We do, it's 0.3 miles away, I'm guessing that's.
But it's gonna take a minute for this.
All right, then, I'm going to go ahead and finish this item out. All right, all in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, council.
Thank you, council.
Say it again.
Could we move to executive session all this?
Not yet,
Save time.
not yet. This shouldn't take long. Bear with us. Council, I'll go ahead, I'm going to go back to the previous item that you ratified the agreement. Though it wasn't provided in the overhead, it is in your packet, the agreement with ERI. I don't know why it didn't make it in the overhead, but it's in your package. Here's what it looks like. That's it. There's the signature page. There you are.
Conference will now be recorded.
Test, test.
We're back up and running. You got streaming running? All right, very good. All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We are up and running again. We did vote on 7C. That was the last bit of that item, and it did pass 4-0, awarding the agreement for the 156 pump station improvement project to Pump Solutions. 7D, discuss, consider, act on resolution adopting amended bylaws for the Haslet Community and Economic Development Corporation presentation. Who is doing that presentation?
That's me. Can you pull
All
it
right.
up?
Councilmember Wise.
Yes, pretty straightforward. This is just mirroring the city's purchasing requirements to our HCEDC Type B. It's not uncommon for cities to do this. It's really a protection for the city, for contractors, for the residents, the taxpayers. Do you guys have any questions about it? Maybe we start there.
Mr. Page, have you reviewed this?
Yes, Mayor. So just as a summary, Chapter 252 of the Local Government Code does require us as the city to comply with various procurement requirements, and specifically for all purchases over $100,000, we have to go through the competitive bid or competitive sealed proposal process. Typically, under state law, Chapter 252 does not apply to economic development corporations, and so currently, both our type A and type B do not have to fulfill those same requirements should they make any purchases over $100,000. This change would make it so that any such purchases would be subject to the same standards that city purchases would be under that amount. So, or excuse me, over that amount. One of those examples would be, a playground equipment that's been talked about. Any playground equipment that they were to do as part of a project that's been approved by the city, they would have to get competitive bids or competitive sealed proposals for that project if it exceeded $100,000. So that would just be an example of how this would possibly change their procedures or change their requirements potentially. And so again, this was put together at the request of Councilmember Wise, and you can see just one change is being proposed in their bylaws, and that's down in section 4.07 amount. So, or excuse me,
Very
over
good.
that amount. One of those examples would be, a playground equipment that's
we
been
have a
talked about.
conversation going on?
Any
It's
playground
replaying
equipment
it
that
for
they-
some reason.
What is it?
It's replaying what he just said. Mr. Mayor, may I ask Jasmine a question?
Yes.
Why, may I ask, is this just coming forward for HC, EDCB, but not A and B?
So I actually wrote it for any and all of Haslet, but Mr. Jeremy actually said that the only board it would apply to would be the type B board, correct? Jeremy, the way I wrote
This one is just a bylaw amendment for type B. And so if we
Yes.
wanted to make similar changes for type A, we would have to come back and do that as well.
Honestly, I didn't focus on type A because our type A doesn't meet. That's something we can do. I did originally write it that way, but he had only been focusing on B, and so we reverted the wording. But I think it should apply across all the city. If you're spending taxpayer money, you should be following a process that's transparent and has the best interests of those residents paying taxes in mind. It leaves less room for human error.
I would like to add in, the state statutes put these bidding requirements in, and this is driven by state statute, which it was formerly at $50,000, now to $100,000, and that was a result of the 89th legislature, or 88th then, be the 88th legislature. Nonetheless, it's been in effect for a couple of years. EDCs, now, municipalities that are political subdivisions of the state. That's how in line wherein that guidance and requirement comes from. EDCs are not political subdivisions. They are corporations, so they are entities of themselves. The city, the relationship between the city and an EDC is that the city is defined as the enabling entity. That's how it's referred to in statute. We're the enabling entity. Now, the enabling entity over a certain, anything over $10,000 that an EDC, A or B, wants to expend, we have to approve. But they are not subject to those, by statute, to the bidding requirements over a certain threshold, as municipalities are. And each, the bylaws are addressed individually of A and B, and that's wherein lies the need to address these bylaws specifically, and A can be done as well, but that's an individual item. The council has, according in its articles of incorporation, can change the bylaws at their desire.
Correct. I do want to go, I guess for council, what is the concern? Why would we not want our boards, committees to be held to the same standards that we are, no matter what? This is taxpayer funds.
I guess my biggest question is, this is another change to a bylaw that didn't go to the to the board first and be requested, just like the parks one. We sent back to them when we were changing their bylaws, and then they looked at them and made suggestions, or they, in that case, thought things looked good and came back to us, and then we approved them. So I understand we are allowed to do this. I feel that that's going, it's still not giving the boards the autonomy that we're trying to do. And I know it's a separate situation since they're a corporation. So, I mean, I would just like to see it come from the boards that about their bylaws and want to be changed and not.
Boards don't like to tie their own hands. I mean, you're putting on them further restrictions and more work for them to have to do. Why would a board come and say, hey, please make more rules for me?
Anytime we changed it on the Parks Board, we just talked about the bylaws. They were discussed periodically, and then we made any suggested changes to the council. So it wasn't like anything additional. It was just part of the process of being updated.
This would, I mean, especially in a very recent experience, this would.
That's one.
It's one.
Right.
But I'm just saying, in general, if I would have known this, I would have brought it regardless of the park situation, because this is best practice for taxpayers. This isn't, to me, this is not an HCEDC item. It is when it's attached to them, but this is what is the best for Haslet taxpayers and protecting their money and making sure we are acting in their best interest. That's how I view it. It's not just up to the HCEDC to kind of make that decision. We're trying to protect our taxpayers, is how I view it personally. But
Okay.
But if I think the example was being bounced around is the playground equipment.
it's just a recent.
I know, but even with that, though, I would say they kind of did put it out for bids because they went through hours of interviewing different companies, proposals, giving them all that. So they basically did put it out, maybe not a bid per se, but they had them come to presentations, several companies. We've heard multiple times from EDC board members about what was presented, and okay, then they ended up selecting one. They technically did send it out, solicited multiple vendors.
So then what would be the problem with following that process and formalizing
All
it?
right, and then to Councilman Morrow's point, because I know the EDC board has a separate attorney, did this go through their attorney for review and
Why
advice?
would the city pay twice? It went through our attorney.
Well, the city would not pay twice. The EDC would have to
Well,
pay for their attorney
it's still
review.
city taxpayer money is what I'm saying. These taxpayers would be paying twice for our service when it's already been reviewed by a city attorney, whether it be HC, EDC, or,
But it does make a difference. EDC has, type B, has their own attorney.
yes.
And the city attorney has no play in it, other than advising the council, the governing body, with regard to an EDC type B matter.
Yes. I'm not sure I understand where your statement's going.
Mr. Page, would you like to clarify on that?
So are we really even ready to consider this? Because it sounds like there's a lot more information that's here, a lot more to consider, a lot more to think through than just coming to a council meeting one time.
Well, that's definitely not what happened. This has been back and forth for over a month. Consideration for Jeremy, it wasn't just thrown up here.
I don't mean to say it's thrown up here. I'm just saying that I think it would, behoove us to have a larger conversation. And I think the thing for me is we, council, are held to a higher standard of the 100,000 in the bid process because we can actually expend money without anybody else approving it. We can prove our own spending the money. EDC, to my knowledge, has to be approved by us. If they request to spend it, and we have to approve it.
But once we approve the amount, how they go forward about spending that, we don't have a say. So say, I don't even like using the park as an example, but say we approve $500,000 for a project and they don't want to go through a process, maybe they want to go direct to somebody, they could. This requires them to follow a process and ensure they're doing the best for the city.
But before they can actually spend the money, we have to approve it.
Yeah, and
Not if it's within the amount we've already approved. So if we say $500,000 and they go and decide, sorry, you guys are in the back, and they go and select a vendor on their own. Is that in the best interest
Well,
of
that's
the
the
city?
same thing like with the Parks Board and their Memorial Park. Not all of them agreed on who they wanted to use. There were two different people. They voted as a board because a majority ruled, and they went with one, even though not everybody was in alignment. So they are still part of a board, and they're going to vote on who they should use as a majority.
I'm
So
just
that's a
saying-
checks and balance there.
In general, that's a checks and balance if you have a good division on your your board or whatever. If you have enough people that have differing opinions that are respected. If you have groups and bubbles of people that can pass it automatically, I mean.
So that's what this sounds like. It's almost a little personal. I don't know. I feel that, yeah, diversity of thought is definitely respected, and we want to see that fostered. And so, but once the majority votes, then that is what I feel like those volunteers are in those positions. We trust them to do that.
I would like to interject something here. You described a situation where once you approve the money, they can go do buy who or whatever they want.
To an extent.
To an extent. Well, that's not particularly true in that, say, I don't say playground equipment. All right. It's, I'm guessing, $300,000, okay? Let's just use that number. Well, before they can expend that, because it's over $10,000, they have got to adopt by resolution that as a project. They're going to have to define that project. They're going to have to define how it benefits that expenditure. How does it benefit the city in that expenditure? So there will be a lot of description that goes in there, and then they're going, based on this, we need $300,000. So there's two things that happen. You're approving the project they have defined, and then you're approving the expenditure as well as the amendment of their budget to take that expenditure out of their. So you're doing multiple things. When they come up with a project, it's a fallacy. If EDC A or B comes up, we want you to $400,000 for XYZ. Well, what is XYZ? Well, we'll decide later. No, you won't.
I don't think anyone's saying that.
Okay, but in the definition of the project that they have to adopt and present to the council for approval, all that information is contained.
Okay.
But, saying that, putting in their bylaws that you'll, anything over $100,000, you got to do a competitive bid. That's fine. That's what the council desires, no harm in that. Certainly, anything over $10,000, they have to get council approval anyway, by default.
Okay, what is the harm besides not speaking to them? What are the other concerns
Yeah,
about?
that's my biggest concern is, one, it should go to their board, back to their board, in my opinion, and two, we should see what it says, like Councilman Horak.
Any other concerns?
No, that's, kind of what we've been speaking about for the last 6 months is, for changes in the bylaws and things, I'd like to, boards or commissions, whatnot, bring those changes to us so we can, review, revise.
Okay, so question, what if they don't agree? What if they don't want restrictions on them?
I mean,
Then you would, I'm sorry, you would
I'm
address
asking-
that.
got,
I'm asking.
it's like I said, I think we've already got our check and balances with this project. From my interpretation of what you're saying on this is basically EDC can go say, we're going to spend X amount of money on a project, and council's just going to blanket, okay, just go do what you want to do.
No, that's
But
what,
that's not the way it actually works.
that's what the mayor said. That is not what I'm saying, that they can go blanket, do whatever they want. They have to follow the scope they're supposed to follow the scope that's written, but that didn't necessarily occur either. So
What I've seen with the parking lot, with the playground, and years in past when they did the cover for the basketball court, we They went, they got all the bids, they did all the legwork, and then brought it to council for final approval on exactly what it was. And it's there when council can say yes or no. It's, like I said, we have the ultimate say in whatever projects they're gonna do.
Let me ask this, is the council's desire that these be presented to HCEDC type B,
I would
the
actually,
bylaws for their presentation, for their review?
I actually did speak to some members of the HCEDC, and something that we did agree on, because I did speak, I don't actually know if they want to be named, but I did speak to them, and they are wanting to redo their bylaws anyway. And I did throw the idea out, once we get past August and budget, of doing a workshop with them, council and the entire HCEDC, because it was brought to my attention that they want their entire bylaws re-looked at. And I agree. I went over them in this process, and they were quite antiquated. So how do we feel about having a workshop with them post?
I would
Budget.
first, please, that's a different item, if you will address this first.
Well, we're talking about when.
That will dispose of this agenda item, please, this resolution. May I have a motion on this resolution as to how to
Okay,
dispose
so,
it?
yeah, I'll make a motion to deny the adopted amended bylaws as presented with the contingency of a workshop in the future.
Motion is made to deny the resolution adopting the amended HCAC bylaws
With the
that-
contingency of a
with
workshop. Yeah.
a contingency of what? A meeting?
Of a future
A
workshop.
A council HCEDC workshop?
Correct.
A city council HCEDC workshop in the future to be determined. Is there a second?
Mayor, I'll second that.
There is a second. All in favor?
Wait, before we go for that, can I just make an amendment that it is done in September or October, either one, whatever, I just want to put a date on it so we know we're acting.
I would recommend
A month.
putting it out in
So
September.
September, but yeah, I'm gonna go to September.
Say the second
After the
meeting in
workshop.
September.
Second,
That puts it out
Council
towards the
meeting.
end of all
Well,
the work that has to be
well,
done on
it might be
budget.
done before the meeting, might be done.
All right,
So
so that
September.
that amendment is to deny the resolution adopting HCEDC bylaws, but also that there will be a joint meeting with the city council and the HCEDC as a workshop in the future, and that being the second meeting, regular city council meeting in September.
Well, we're not doing the workshop at the second meeting. We would be doing it by then. This is going to take a lot of communication. This should be its own separate.
Excuse me, the amendment was a workshop.
That's not what she
All I
said.
just said, I just said to the month of September. I didn't put a specific date on it, just in September.
Okay, in September.
Correct.
All right then. Does everybody understand the motion?
Yes, I just want to make sure we're
Is
not
there a
rushing.
second? Do you agree with a second?
Yes, Mayor, I'll second that.
All right, all in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, council. Seven E, discuss, consider, and act regarding the role of the Parks Board in the planning and development of city park projects, including the city's parks master plan, community park improvements, Nance Field improvements, and other park-related initiatives. Receive a status update identifying current project responsibilities and provide direction as necessary. And the presenter on this,
Me. All right.
Councilmember Wise, please.
We're going to start the discussion on this today, but we are going to table. I didn't know Zach was out when I put this on here. I didn't know until this morning. So we're not going to go very far on this, but I did just want to start the conversation since it's on here, just in case there's questions any of us want answered. So why I'm bringing this, my understanding is that Zach is working on the master plan for the soccer fields and baseball fields, the firehouse fields. Is that correct?
With Mr. Anderson.
With
They're
Mr.
working
Anderson. Okay, and then my understanding is no one is working on the parks master plan.
I don't have to ask the Parks Board. I know we brought it up at budget workshop because we asked.
I did.
don't know if it
There
Mr.
was a motion
Rogers.
made a number of months ago, and the council voted in favor of it, is to hire a consultant to.
That's right, the master
And
park plan.
I don't recall the amount of money, but there was sufficient funds to do that, so it did not involve a council member to develop these plans. It was to retain a consultant that does.
I think
a
you're
con-
thinking of two different things.
No, well, I have the agenda item
This
that I'll
agenda
send
item.
out. No, that was made months ago.
Right, we made a motion to have, or we directed Councilmember Gilbert to work in conjunction with Mike Anderson, correct? Y'all help me with this.
No, that's,
And he was going to get with them and then present something, I believe, to the Parks Board and to the council, and they've been working together, but there's.
tomorrow morning, I will send out that agenda item to all the council that I'm referring to.
What date was that meeting? I'll just look
I
it up.
don't have the date. It was months ago.
Okay, so just a quick question. If you knew you had that meeting, I would have preferred you'd emailed me before this has been posted, because that would have been helpful to know.
I didn't know the content of your item here. You didn't share this with me.
It came out to everybody on Monday night, a week ago, or
Yeah,
Tuesday.
well, it's very good.
Okay, so I was not here when this was kind of given over to Zach, and I do understand Zach's background, but I do have the question of why, if we are very big about giving items to the boards they belong to, why is the Parks Board not involved in the firehouse fields?
Well, that's a lot of my question right there is from my understanding, there's been a lot of work done and zero interaction with the park board on this. And just as we iterated a while ago on a previous agenda item, these type of things need to originate back with, particularly this one, with the parks board. I mean, they need to be.
I talked to them.
Yeah, for this one, for the master plan, whether it's ball fields or a city park, park board members need to be involved in what's being decided, and it sounds like there's kind of a vacuum going right now that's excluding park board members on this.
And I'd like to clarify, you talked to
I spoke.
the whole park, you went
No,
to the Parks Board?
I spoke to
Ms.
Sarah with the
Nambu.
Parks Board
Okay,
to
yeah,
tell her
I-
this item was coming. Are you saying I'm a vacuum for this?
No,
No.
not at
Okay.
all.
And I talked
Okay.
to Ms. Nimbu as well,
No,
and
this is-
she said she likes this, but she also said she doesn't speak for the whole board, and that she
Correct.
would like, so yeah, she's
Wanting,
one person, yes.
she, as well as other people on Parks Board, have voiced that they want direction and that they have been left out in general. So what I wanted to achieve from this is pretty much the way, at least from hearing you guys, and giving things back to the boards they belong to, I wanted us to decide to give direction that the Parks Board takes over the firehouse fields with Zach as a liaison, because he does have experience. And that is how, my understanding, their bylaws are written, how it should be, that a council member with experience can liaison and provide the guidance with their experience. So I kind of want to hand that back to the Parks Board and Zach work with the Parks Board, and then also tell the Parks Board to start working towards the master plan in whatever capacity that looks like. That's all I wanted to achieve by this.
No, that's what, because they, the parks board put together, the survey, and so they need to make sure whatever, we got the results back, so they need to make sure whatever's being done is, it may be incorporated, but they need to know that it's being incorporated into whatever plans are. So, yeah, the parks board needs to be an integral part in any planning with any of our designated city parks, regardless of usage.
Yes. I know their board is noted as an advisory board, but for most cities, they do, anytime it comes to a park, they are building and imagining those parks with help from other city members that have the experience. And then it's more of a group effort with the park at the heart of it. And I just think we need to get back to that. So do we want to do something, or do we want to table it? I mean, it sounds like we're all on the same
Yeah,
page.
I
It's
do
up to you.
think, that's what I had written down, was to make a motion to table it when Councilman Gilbert and City Engineer Mike Anderson can be present, which would be the July 20th. So that's actually what I had in my notes. I'll make a motion if you want me to.
In the meantime, do we want to have any questions given to the Parks Board about this? Do they meet before the 20th?
They meet Wednesday.
Do you want to have any questions brought to them?
I don't know, their agenda's already been was published, so, and, yeah.
Okay, well then we'll just talk about it. You want to table it?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to table, oh gosh, item, what is it, 7E to the July 20th City Council meeting.
I second that.
Motion is made to table item 7E to the July 20th, did you say? City Council meeting. There's a second, and who's second?
Me, sorry.
There's a second. All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you, council. Item 7F, but I would ask that we take a 5-minute recess, please. So I recess this open session at 8:10 p.m. If you would join back at the dais at 8:15. Thank you. Thank you. I resume this city council meeting at 8:16 PM. All the members of the council are present. 7F, reconsideration of ordinance 11-2026, amending the City of Haslet Code of Ordinances by amending Chapter 10 Subdivision Regulations, Article 10.03, Impact Fees in accordance with Senate Bill 1883, tabled from the June 15, 2026 regular city council meeting. I will need a motion to untable this item first. If I could have that, please.
Is it just I make a motion on table this item as stated?
Motion's made to untable this item. Is there a second?
Yes, Mayor, I'll second that.
There's a second. All in favor? All right. Now we can consider the item. The subdivision regulations, Mr. Page, you're very familiar with that. Go ahead. This is due to the Senate bill.
Yeah, so just as a reminder, we had to make certain changes to our impact fee ordinance to comply with Senate Bill 1883, specifically as it relates to our impact fee committee. As we've talked about on multiple occasions, they can no longer be exclusively filled by members of our P&Z as it has been before. And so part of this edit was to revise the standards for that committee. As a part of that process, the mayor noted some other issues with our existing language in that ordinance. I double-checked state law, made the corrections to comply with state law. And so that is the ordinance that is being presented to you. So not only makes those changes to our committee, our impact fee committee, but capital improvement advisory committee, that is, but also makes some changes so that our language more closely tracks what is contained in state law.
Okay, I remember this. This is the one that I got a little confused on, but it has to have 5. That's the minimum? Yes. But we could direct to have 7 like we've had in the past. Okay, and then we'll also get the applications, just like we would any other board for approval?
Yes.
Okay.
Always want to be crystal, those applications, just like any other board.
So that has been, I'd like to make a comment, it has been worked on for several months now. Those, let's say there's 5. Now, 50% have got to be from the real estate development or construction industry. That's not particularly easily accomplished. We have had several, in fact, as to my knowledge, all I've been notified of is 2 applicants so far, and neither one actually qualify for either of those positions. I have reached out. Now, we do have one member on the CIAC that does qualify under construction, already on CIAC.
On P&Z.
They are on the CIAC.
That's the committee that,
Yes, this is CIAC that would,
right.
yes.
Okay.
And I have reached out to a developer, area developer. They have agreed. They'll be filling out their form. We're in earnest to find a 3rd applicant. So I would advise the council, you could say 7, but that's a tall order to fill.
Who's the developer you reached out to?
Huh?
You said you reached out to a developer?
Yes.
Who'd you reach out to?
Hillwood.
Okay, Hillwood. And who's the member that was a part of the CIAC?
Joe Sweeney. So he's an existing member. So he fills the requirement. So, but just to give you that notice, here's where we are. So hopefully, maybe the next meeting I can come with you with 3 applicants to fill this CIC minimum.
So do we have to make a number in our motion today currently? Okay.
The ordinance just says a minimum of 5, or it just says we have to follow state law, and the state law just says there's a
Not
minimum
less
of
than
5.
5.
Yeah, so we don't need to make that.
So we're actually getting off topic.
What was that?
Are we getting off topic?
No, I mean, not
Is it okay?
necessarily, but we weren't appointing anybody tonight. That will be for a later time.
Sounds good. I'll go for it again. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda item as written. 7F.
Motion is made to approve the agenda item as written, and that agenda item is amending the City of Haslet Code of Ordinances, amending Chapter 10 subdivision regulations, Article 10.03 impact fees, in accordance with Senate Bill 1883.
I'm sorry, I guess I would have to amend to specify do I need to specify which one? Because the original update on June 15th.
The one that's presented this evening.
Okay, it's good.
Presented here. with
Okay.
this. Okay. Is there a second? Is there a second?
Mayor, I'll second that.
There is a second. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, council. Seven G, discuss, consider, and act on a resolution authorizing the city administrator to execute a letter of concurrence to Alliance Corridor, Inc. for requested foreign trade zone designation for certain premises within the city of Haslet, tabled from the June 1st, 2026 and June 15th, 2026 regular city council meeting minutes. Presentation of this is whom? But yes, I will just ask who is presenting this legal. It'll be Jeremy Page. So I would ask we could have a motion to untable item 7G.
I'll make the motion to untable it.
Motion is made to untable item 7G. Is there a second?
Mayor, I'll second that.
There is a second. All in favor? Unanimous. We can now discuss, entertain the item itself. Mr. Page.
So this item is back before the council, having been tabled twice. Since I believe the last time we were here, there's a revised map. I believe the mayor has spoken with Hillwood. We actually have representatives from Hillwood here today. If you have any questions about their foreign trade zone application, its impact on what it would mean for the city moving forward, they are here to answer those questions because, again, this is their application, and we would just be, as the city council, kind of providing a stamp of approval on that application with the federal government.
Yes, sir. I would like to, and apologize, I don't recall your name.
J.R. Holcomb.
Yes, sir. And you represent Hillwood.
Yes, and to be
Please.
specific, tonight I represent Alliance Corridor, Inc.
Or Alliance Corridor, Inc. Thank you. Proceed.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. Again, my name is J.R. Holcomb. I'm with Alliance Corridor, Inc. It's a nonprofit entity that's existed in the Alliance, Texas area for over 30 years to market and operate in support of the federal foreign trade zone program, which was adopted by an act of Congress in 1930. There's a lot of misconceptions about what a foreign trade zone is. An FTZ, as they call it, is not a land use approval. It's not a traffic approval or a business expansion permit. It's not a mechanism to avoid paying tariffs. It is a U.S. Customs and Border Protection, or CBP, Compliance and Customs Administrative Program. Think of it like a fancy software. Many people hear the term foreign trade zone and assume it means more imports, more warehouses, more trucks, but in reality, the FTZ designation does not authorize or require an increase in freight activity. An FTZ designation does not create additional truck traffic or authorize a company to expand its operations. Those decisions are driven by market demand and customer orders, etc., not by the FTZ program itself. The FTZ program is a federal customs compliance program administered by CBP that changes how goods are imported and tracked, secured, reported, and processed from where they enter the country at a seaport or an airport to where it is sold to the public. It improves customs oversight and the administrative efficiencies, but it does not determine how many trucks enter or leave a facility. It's a federal protective program to help companies be safe and play by the rules. Think of an FTZ like a different accounting and customs compliance status for inventory, not a permit to build larger warehouses or operate more trucks. If a company ships 100 trucks a month before the FTZ program, they will still most likely ship 100 trucks a month after the FTZ program. The difference is that those shipments are managed under a federal customs compliance framework that improves inventory control, record keeping, security, and CBP oversight, which helps us all be safe and our community safe at the end of the day. I do want to make a note for the record that it was mentioned earlier, but a representative from Hillwood was at the last P&Z meeting, and that representative from Hillwood is sitting in the back of the room today. FTZ support in this greater Alliance, Texas area is not new. That's one of the most important things. It's a program that's existed for over 30 years in this Alliance, Texas area and the greater DFW Metroplex. It only applies to land that's zoned industrial and that land that will most likely remain industrial after current or future master planning efforts. And support tonight for this program does not lock land into an industrial use. I repeat, support does not lock land into an industrial use. And finally, land that is shown on the map before you is not only Hillwood land. I'm not here representing Hillwood, I'm representing Alliance Corridor, Inc., and we support and market this federal program across all industrial land that could one day need that compliance, oversight, and protective administration. And I'm welcome to any questions that you might have.
I have a question. So we have this map and the purple shaded areas here, and what's being requested is a letter of no objection. We do not oppose this. Now, let me ask, for such as, say, as example, here, we know there's 3 warehouses there. They're brand new. When a business moves into those warehouses, do they, as a business entity, have to apply for the FTZ designation?
Yes, they do.
All right, so my point being, I asked it this way, we are not pre-approving any designation here of FTZ. We're just purely stating as a municipality, we don't have any opposition to these areas here.
That's correct. If a company were to move into a warehouse and want this FTZ program, this customs enforcement and protective software over their operations, they still have to apply for the Foreign Trade Zone program through the Department of Commerce. It's a 90 to 120-day application process. And then once that approval might come from representatives in the Department of Commerce in DC, they then go through a similar application process with the Area Port of Dallas CBP to ensure that that Area Port of Dallas CBP officers can support that FTZ monitoring and protection at that warehouse. And that process typically takes 3 to 4 months as well.
Can I ask a question? What are the benefits that there would be to our city, to Haslet?
Benefits to Haslet are if a company is moving into industrial land, the land is zoned industrial, they're bringing their jobs, their employees, their kids that will go to public school, their shopping that is in your area, property taxes that they will all pay. That company knows ahead of time that they have the support of the community to have this FTZ, Customs Enforcement and Protection software and program over that location versus if they were to go somewhere else and not have that already in place.
So let me, I'll ask this. It is my impression that having the FTZ designation the company does, and that's more conducive to a business that's involved in manufacturing or, say, assembly. It's a different kind of job, whether in lieu of just a pure warehouse. Is that impression right or wrong? Or And that the FTZ designation, if those products or materials are within that warehouse, that area, that plant, 90 days or less, there's no customs on that, correct? Can you describe that part of it?
The FTZ program was initially created in the 1930s to help bring the country out of the Great Depression. It was created to incentivize companies to have domestic manufacturing, keep your jobs here, versus go somewhere else. And so in that instance, you are correct. Most FTZ operations coast to coast are domestic manufacturing, production, kitting, etc. There's also a program called Triple Free Port Tax Exemption that exists in the state of Texas. And if an inventory product were to come from out of the state into a warehouse, leave within 90 days, no inventory tax can be collected on that product anyways.
So an FTZ, if a company has that, though, I mean, what? The council is poised to approve or disapprove tonight. If a company gets that FTZ designation, it could lead to a different job type
Yes,
instead of, say, a pure warehouse operation.
correct. FTZs incentivize domestic manufacturing and production,
Thank you.
investment and jobs in the community.
Okay, I have a, wait, sorry, Chris, did you? Some of these locations already have warehouses, so it's obvious why you want it further, but the areas that don't have warehouses, why are these locations being selected? Can you explain that?
Similar answer to the answer previously, they're zoned industrial, and so if a large-scale, very impressive USA manufacturing company is looking for site selection, looking for a place to build their manufacturing operations, their campus, they can see and know that that land that doesn't have a building on it is already supported by the as what we call FTZ ready.
So most of that northern land that does not currently have a warehouse is actually zoned ag. The future land use does show industrial, but the current, am I saying that incorrectly? Currently, it is zoned ag, so that's why I was just asking why those locations, specifically the corner on Westport. I do know the intent for that property, and I'm struggling to understand where, I'm trying to overlay it on a city map, but I'm trying to figure out where that northland is. Does that currently have north more, right there. Does that currently have a warehouse? That does not, right?
I don't believe it does.
Okay. My guess is because that's right towards the railway. Would that be?
Right. Adjacency to the intermodal is
Okay.
always important.
So you guys are, okay, got it.
It is worth stating that I don't come here today with any FTZ application in the city of Haslet on deck. So there is no company that's reached out to us recently or in the past several months really that has asked for this. This is more of just a preemptive measure.
And I may be using the wrong verbiage, but you already have a tenant for the warehouses in Caraway, correct? You guys already have someone moving into those?
I'm not sure
Okay.
which warehouses they are.
The ones on Hazlet Parkway.
Yeah.
I'm not on the development side.
Oh, okay.
He's not involved in that. He's
Okay, because
not
I was
the
going to ask
developer.
if the intent was for them to put in an application, but I'm sorry, go ahead, Chris.
Again, there's no intent. There's no agenda. There's nothing. I'm doing the same process here with Tarrant County, with Denton County, City of Fort Worth, City of Roanoke, Town of North Lake, Northwest ISD, Saginaw ISD, Eagle Mountain Saginaw, Keller, et cetera. So the same sort of process. It's all universal.
So you're doing, it's easy because you can just repeat the same thing over and over. It's the same story, second verse.
To some degree.
Right, yeah.
To some degree, there are different maps, but to some degree.
I don't mean that in a belittling way. Please
Sure.
don't take it that way. The concern that I come with is that a lot of the residents in the Caraway neighborhood, which is the low right pink box there, have expressed concern about how that would affect the kinds of businesses that would come in there and the kinds of traffic that would be there right next to two neighborhoods. So could you speak to, one way or the other, it doesn't matter, but there's been a lot of concern about what kind of impact that would have locally, especially that particular pink box on this map, because it's so close to residential. It's literally across the street from two neighborhoods.
Right.
And so can you just speak to what kind of impact that may or may not have, or what that would entail?
Sure. I'll answer it in two ways. I mentioned earlier market demand and customer orders. I've never spoken to or met a company that may or may not want the FTZ status that's made a decision on where they'll locate because of the FTZ program. Think of it like a tool in the tool belt that a company might consider, but no company has ever before chosen a location because of the FTZ program. And so I would say that supporting this support letter, we have no evidence that it ever increases industrial development in the immediate or into, the future for that piece of land. And then again, market demand and customer orders. That is what drives industrial development here or anywhere, is market demand and customer orders. It's not the foreign trade zone's letter of support that says that CBP will have more strict and more safe enforcement of imported product into a warehouse. And then finally, throughout all of southern Denton County and northern Tarrant County, that's my Alliance Corridor 196 area that I perform these duties for. Tens of thousands of acres of industrial land. We have 14 companies that utilize the Foreign Trade Zone program. So it is not there's over 550 companies just in the Alliance Texas development, which is developed by Hillwood, doesn't include any industrial developers around the area. 500 and some odd industrial companies that are importing and exporting, 14 of them use the Foreign Trade Zone program. So it is not proven to ever be a significant factor in what a company decides to develop and where.
So what would it benefit to include or not include that particular piece in the FTZ application from your side?
From our side, it's options for companies to relocate to this area, bring their jobs, bring their kids that go to public schools, bring their shopping, manufacturing warehouses that pay property tax, versus going somewhere across the street that may not have this Foreign Trade Zone support.
And Alliance Inc. that you're representing, is that the group that is developing this entire, what is it called, the whole area here that you're trying to make like the warehouse area that is the futuristic? I'm lost for words right now, but
Alliance
do you know
Corridor Inc.
Inland Port.
No, it's not what I'm looking for. No, it's not what I'm looking for either. Never mind.
Smart Port.
Yeah, thank you. That one.
Alliance Corridor Inc. is not a partner in Smart Port.
Okay.
In any way, form, or fashion.
Who's driving that one? Do you know?
I believe it's Hillwood,
Okay.
the city of Fort Worth, and BNSF.
And so would this be
This is not
a piece of that? Okay.
whatsoever.
That's what I was trying to get
From
to.
my
Sorry, thank
understanding,
you.
Smart Port is only in the city of Fort Worth.
Okay.
I may not be accurate on that, but that's my understanding.
I'm talking about.
I do know that it's none
Okay.
of these areas. This map
Okay. Thank you, sir.
is not the Smart Port.
I do want to speak as a resident of Caraway. I, of course, am not a fan of those warehouses going there. But speaking to council, the warehouses are there. We're not going to stop them from being filled. And honestly, any effort we do to stop them from being filled is only to our detriment. We can't change that they're warehouses. We can't unbuild them. So to me, at least that pink box isn't my concern. It was more of the land that we haven't yet zoned industrial, but that again would come to us to make that decision. So I just feel like even putting forward this resolution to support them, I don't see what damage we're doing. For the land that we haven't decided is industrial yet, we have that final say and that final conversation to be had. They can't, like you said, it doesn't change the land designation. And for the land that's already there, it's gonna be filled and we need it to be. I don't know. What's your opinion?
So with this particular resolution, pass this, so you get the FTZ status. And when a company does decide to move in, contract in one of these buildings, when they I guess the company still has to apply for their FTZ license or agreement. Now, does that come back to the city, or is that more with the state and federal agencies?
It's a federal program, and so it's with the federal government and Customs and Border Protection.
And this is what I asked previously and other discussions along with this. I think that possibly the biggest impact with us would be revolving around inventories and whatnot, and not being able to tax them at ad valorem taxes on inventory within the buildings. I think that's probably the biggest impact I think the city itself would have with the FTZs.
Right.
Still get property taxes and all that, but it's the inventory
Right.
held in the buildings that, and that's what I asked. It's always hard to tell. I'm in a logistic distribution, what type of inventory companies bring in. Hard to say immediate impact, but that would be one that I think that's the most biggest impact I would see itself, is not being able to collect, the ad valorem taxes on.
Just as a reminder, if that inventory is moving in and out of the warehouse, quote unquote, fast enough, there are laws, Texas and federal, that state the local municipality does not collect any inventory tax on that.
Yeah, I'm in the telecom business, yeah, inventory moves very fast.
Right, and that was my next point, was in the studies we've done as we've defended our position on the support, we have found that, especially in this area, we're in an inland port, the largest inland port, inventory moves very quickly in and out of these buildings. It does not often sit.
Yeah. No, and the Councilman Wise's mentioned a while ago, I mean, the building's already there. I think what we're needing to make the city gain is put somebody in the building. It's not, we're not hindering building of a new building with this. Most of these buildings, I think, are already in place in some form or fashion. So it's a matter, is there a mechanism to make it more attractive, is really what the target of this is.
Most municipalities, economic development partnerships, corporations do begin to use that as marketing material if they're reaching out to companies, if companies are reaching out to them. It's on websites, it's on brochures. This land is FTZ ready.
And I know it's not in our city limits, but the development that I think it's Celestica that's moving into, is that a FTZ designated area?
It is.
See, that's what I thought, and that's
It
huge.
is. It's off North Beach Street, it is.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Council, can I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to, how do we do this since the letter's already been sent? Would it be to? But you've already sent the,
To approve the resolution?
there, he's asking if it has to be resigned.
So as of now, we have a signed letter by the mayor with this map and with the new map that is shown behind you or behind me. And so if you are good with as it is stands, you would just be ratifying that letter. Otherwise, you could resend it and have Joe or another city
Okay,
official sign
more
off
work.
on it.
Got
Yeah,
it.
but
Okay.
if you like just to keep it as it is, you would just ratify mayor's actions.
I make a motion to ratify the letter submitted to Hillwood by the mayor.
Motion is made to
I'm sorry?
ratify
With this map.
the previous letter of no objection signed by the mayor with the addition of this new map. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a second. All in favor? 4-0. Thank you, council.
Thank you for coming to speak.
7H, Discuss, consider, and act on a resolution of censure concerning the mayor's repeated failure to follow direction provided by the city council and any related actions deemed appropriate by the city council. And Councilmember Wise.
All right, if you want to pull up the censure. I'm not going to go over the entire document, but I'll read the 4 points. Moving to censure the mayor for appointing himself as the city's voting representative to the North Central Texas Council of Governments without authorization by resolution or other official action of the city council. Next item is submitting correspondence on behalf of the city without prior authorization of the city council, requiring subsequent council action to rescind that correspondence. Conducting foreign trade zone communications without including the city administrator after being directed to do so by the city council, and failing to include or recognize the role of the city administrator as directed by the city council. There is an attached document kind of documenting the proof behind these items, and I'm just going to open it up for the sake of time to council to ask any questions.
No, I think everything you stated is pretty much spot on.
Mayor, did you have any comments?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Okay, then I would like to make a motion on approving the resolution XXX 2026 of censure concerning the mayor's repeated failure to follow direction provided by the city council and any related actions deemed appropriate by the city council.
Motion is made to approve the resolution of censure concerning the mayor's repeated failure to follow a direction provided by the city council and any related actions deemed appropriate by the city council. Is there a second?
Yes, Mayor, I'll second that.
There's a second.
Before I take the vote, I'd just like to ask one thing on the recognized role of the city administrator directed by the city council. Do we see the mayor accepting this position anytime in the future?
Are you?
Mayor.
Yeah.
I will reserve that comment in my reply to this written reply to this resolution.
Can we go ahead and put the reconsideration on for the next meeting?
Say it again.
Can we put the reconsideration on for the next meeting, Joe? Okay.
No, you can't because you haven't seen one yet.
It's coming.
You haven't seen one yet,
Okay.
madam. Nothing's been submitted.
Okay.
I could surprise you. I could sign this.
I would be surprised.
Nonetheless, there is a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, council. Item 8, the city council reserves the right to adjourn into executive session during the course of the meeting to seek legal advice from its attorney regarding any item posted on the agenda as authorized by Section 551071 of the Texas Government Code. Additionally, pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, the City Council may adjourn into executive session in accordance with the authority contained in Section 551.072. This would be with regard to purchase of community facilities, and Section 551.074 of the Government Code with regard to Haslet Community and Economic Development Corporation Type B Board of Directors, Place 7. I must ask, Ms. Kitty Wirtz, you have the right to have this item held in open session.
No.
All right, then Ms. Wirtz agrees with the closed session on this. Okay, council, this, with regard to these two items, This executive session meeting, closed session as referred to in the Open Meeting Act, will start with the governing body only. If you're not a member of the governing body, which
The
is
lawyer and the city administrator will be joining
No.
us in executive session, sir.
Mr. Page. It's not in statute. The council gets to decide
That
that.
is an AG opinion. The council gets to decide who is and who is not in the executive session.
What AG opinion is that?
So we'd like Ms. Babcock, Mr. Page, and Mr.
What
Ashton, please.
AG opinion is that?
We can discuss an executive
Okay.
session.
No, well, we're not even going to convene into executive session because the statute that I read in the Open Meeting Act, as I was discussing with you earlier today, the statute governing the Open Meeting Act is one of the very few state statutes that if you violate, it comes with criminal penalty. Criminal penalty. I'm not traveling that road. I'm not even going to put my toe out across that line.
Can he recuse
So
himself from?
now,
or-
if you allow us to convene into executive session with the governing body only, let these items be introduced, then you can determine, oh, I need that person here or I need that person here. But all I'm asking is to convene in accordance with state statute.
Can we agree the first order of business will decide who attends the meeting?
After the item is introduced to you, if you need that person.
Jeremy, what say you?
Well, just for the record, we have to have a secretary in there to take minutes.
That's
of
not
our
true.
closed meeting.
That is not true.
It says necessary essential personnel.
I'm just,
That is not true.
so question, have you had the city secretary in executive session at every point up until now?
Yes.
So then your concern is mute. You're just.
No, it's not.
Okay,
No, it's not.
I really don't want to play games tonight.
We're not playing games, madam. If we cannot start out with just the governing body in this executive session, that is going to be mute.
Jeremy, can we do executive session without him in it if he decides not to attend?
You can move to adjourn to executive session and then vote on that. And then the mayor choose to decide whether to attend the executive session or not.
Perfect. I make a motion to move to executive session.
I second.
Motion is made and seconded to move to executive session. All in favor? Unanimous. All right, if you'll convene into the boardroom. Say it again?
Who's taking over? My wife thinks our house was hit by lightning.
James, are you recording? You are recording? Good evening. Time is 10:12 p.m. All members of the City Council are present. I resume the open session. I will make note that the mayor never did formally convene an executive session. Nonetheless,
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a
we will
question?
go to, excuse me, madam.
I'm asking you, can I ask a question?
What's your question?
You noted that you never formally convened executive session.
Executive session.
But can we also make note that Mayor Pro Tem did convene executive session and the mayor attended until, what was the time?
9:26.
9:26 for the record.
And the mayor noted that the executive session, supposed executive session being held was contrary to the Texas Open Meeting Act.
And then it convened at 10:10, or I mean, sorry, it ended at 10:10 for the
So-
record.
For his statement, would we say
Nonetheless.
in his opinion?
Pardon, no, it's a matter of fact.
Jeremy?
It's a matter of fact. Jeremy is,
We don't need to cite any of this in the minutes. We just need to put what time we convened and what time we resumed open session.
Crystal, you got that?
all right, so going to there's no items to consider under the executive session. Future agenda items, here's your list. Annual PIDs are coming up. Designation of full-time fire department, that ordinance is being worked on. Encompass Health site plan is coming. Veterans Memorial Garden contract award, I do expect that would be the next council meeting. That's expected, not a promise.
Mr. Mayor,
And the FM 156 pump station contract award. Yes, sir.
I was just going to ask if Joe could have back on the agenda for next time on the update section. Could we keep an update on the Public Works building on there? Thank you.
That's on the agenda already.
It is.
An update from Mike.
For
The,
next week or always? Always. For the July 20th?
July 20th, sorry.
Okay. Can we have
Yeah.
it as a regular update, though?
Well,
Thank you.
That is such a
It's my request.
slow-moving job.
It's
It's
okay.
like every 2 weeks you want an update. There's not
Yep.
enough movement to
Yes, sir.
update anything.
Yes, I would like an update every 2 weeks.
That's what you desire.
Yes, sir.
And then Mayor Halsey, I wanted to bring up, a citizen, Mr. Dias, has requested speed humps at White Lane, and it's been on our 6:15, it was in our minutes from the month before, and I just wanted to see if we're we're doing a traffic impact analysis, we're doing a traffic mitigation, or something to, as an update for the White Lane speed humps that he's requested.
That study has been done.
So on the July 20th, we can have an update on that.
We can give you an update on that and what we have found. And the gentleman, I have a meeting to schedule with him. He has further steps that he needs to take.
Okay, perfect.
Then it would come to the city council.
Okay, so,
And you would have both the study and what work he has to do with regard to his neighborhood.
perfect, thank you.
With that, I adjourn this meeting at 10:16 p.m.
From the Bahamas?